We welcome you live to the iCar Pro Series Season number 3 race in Dover. And we are here from Dover, Delaware tonight. And the iCar Pro Series is going in Dover. 3 races remaining in the season. And qualifying is underway from the Dover Motor Speedway. Here we go. Cars on the racetrack in Dover. The first one down the front straight of that 84, Jamie McKinney, making his NASCAR iRacing FedEx League return as he makes his way down into 1 and 2. There is Cameron Chandler, so good here. Dover won here last season, which clinched his championship, making his way through 3 and 4 and down the front straightaway. So a lap of qualifying to set the field for tonight's iCar race in Dover. Across the line goes Chandler here on this Tuesday night. First car over the line, he's obviously top of the board. Can anyone beat him? There's CJ Irvin. And here comes Matthew White. Now 13 points back on Cameron Chandler in the championship. Can he make strides today? Well, he was good. He was going to make big strides last week in Pocono, but then got wrecked on the final lap. Fortunately for him. McKinney is second. White here starting his lap. Through 1 and 2. Heading down the backstretch now for that 18 car. And down to turns 3 and 4. Dover, of course, in Delaware. Oh, he's going to get in the wall a little bit. That might actually invalidate his lap time. Possibly. 1 and 2. And we're all up and running here. Yeah, that invalidates his lap time. That is not good news for Matthew White. Just 3 races left to go this season. Tonight in Dover, next week in Charlotte, and then the finale in Bristol with about 3 minutes left to go here. We'll see anyone else in the racetrack. Here comes the 9 of Bryce Benson. Winner, should say, last week in Pocono on Tuesday here in iCar. Third in the Cup race as well, so he has been absolutely on fire this season in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League and looking for another iCar win today. I believe it will be his 3rd of the year. Of course, during the warm-up session coming up, we'll talk about some breaking news with iCar that came out last week. That's going to be very, very important. You also got the 65 on the racetrack, and the 60 is now Trenton Wilkin. Here is 35, and there's the 9. Benton back on a 3 and 4 to the bridge he goes here in Dover. Through turns 3 and 4 from the Dover Motor Speedway and across the line. Benton in the 9 car will go. Can he beat Cameron Chandler? Chandler, of course, the king of Dover. Multiple wins here, and he's second to the 9. To the 8, I mean. Also got here is iRacing actually wants to qualify today. Here is the 60 of Trenton Wilkin making his way to 3 and 4 as we're having a lag fest. Now he's going to spin. Ryan goes to 60. I believe that will be his time done. I don't think he's going to be able to make a time here. Here is, oh my god, iRacing. Okay. Here is the 22 of Brody Webster. We're having a couple issues. I don't know what we're doing right now, but okay. It's kind of ridiculous, but... There we go. All right, here comes Brody Webster down the backstretch on that 22. Returns from a week suspension after what he did in Talladega. To me, actually, I was in the Talladega race. Yeah, it was definitely not the greatest thing what he did. Wrecking me under caution. Brody is 6th. So not every car qualified. Most importantly, Matthew White. He's going to be starting in the back here. There aren't a ton of cars tonight for whatever reason. Only 11, I believe. Definitely a little bit of a smaller grid than we usually see here in iCar. But we're in Dover this week for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. Returning, this race was in the playoffs last season for both Cup and Grand National. iCar as well came here. Got the Grand National Series tomorrow, of course, iCar tonight, and then, of course, the first ever Gen 4 race here at Dover Motor Speedway on Thursday for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. And it looks like Cameron Chandler going to be on pole from the Monster Mile. Of course, this is the Monster Mile. They got the big Miles the Monster statue outside the racetrack here in Dover, Delaware. This is one of the racetracks. A week ago, we were in Pocono. This week, we're in Dover. Next week, we're in Charlotte. I've been to all those tracks. I've watched races at every single one of those tracks in real life. So, I got some good experience here, I guess, in the booth. All right, there's Miles the Monster, and that will do it. It's time for the real quick warm-up session here in Dover. 3 races remain in the iCar Pro Series season, and the championship battle is on between Cameron Chandler, looking for his 3rd straight title, and, of course, Matthew White, 13 points and behind him entering today, but that could be an easy swing. We'll see how it goes. We look in victory lane and all around the Dover Motor Speedway. All right, here we go. Warm-up session is underway here in Dover. Here comes Pete Shelton on the racetrack in the 17. Alrighty. Chandler, 1-2. There's Chandler, your pole sitter. More cars here on the racetrack as well. Down the back straight goes the 84 of James McKinney, maybe making some, probably a cup start in Grand National start maybe this week here in Dover. He's in a completely different time zone, so he can only race when he's got some sort of break, like spring break, winter break, that something like that. So that's when we see Jamie. Happy to see him back. Of course, Dover is such a quick racetrack. I know it looks short, only a mile long, but these cars are just flying around here. It's like a bigger Bristol, I guess you could say, but it definitely races a lot different than Bristol Motor Speedway. Double the size of it, of course. Anyways, the big news that came out after last Tuesday's iCar race in Pocono is, unfortunately, the iCar Pro Series will be ceasing operations on July 31st entirely, and this season 3 will be the final full-time season for the championship in iCar's history. This will not affect the NASCAR Racing FedEx League at all, even though we do have a partnership. They will continue to race part-time after the season until July 31st, when unfortunately they will cease operations. So that will be the end of the iCar League in general, unfortunately. Been a good ride, of course, 3 seasons now full of the iCar Pro Series. Been a lot of memorable moments, some not so great, but some good moments as well. And we're definitely going to miss the series. We will still have FedEx ARCA from time to time. Probably to actually be expanding that due to this happening. Probably have a little. Usually we only have one ARCA race a season because of iCar, but probably would actually expand it to multiple. A little mini season for ARCA. Of course, for those cars iCar runs. Here's the 40 of Knox Thompson down in the 1 and 2. So only 3 races left to go in the official championship style iCar, which is unfortunate, but all good things have to come to an end. Of course, this won't affect Grand National Cup trucks, everything else. It only affects iCar. That's all we're talking about here. So don't worry, there's nothing. The NASCAR Racing FedEx Cup Series Grand National, that's not going anywhere. So don't worry about that. Here's the 17 of Keaton Shelton down to 3 and 4. Oh, in the wall a little bit. But yeah, we've definitely enjoyed over the last year or so in spending these Tuesday nights here with iCar. Unfortunately, going to see that come to an end though. Oh, okay. Alrighty, so just about a minute, bit of voice crack, my God. Got a minute to go here in Dover for this warm-up session from the Dover Motor Speedway tonight. Hopefully, I actually don't think. I'm not 100% sure, even though I'm involved with management in this league. I'm not sure if they're gonna be racing here ever again, maybe part-time or whatever. I would actually think so, because Cameron Chandler loves this racetrack. So I wouldn't be one bit surprised to see iCar still race here at Dover one more time at least. So this probably isn't the final ever trip iCar will make it Dover. Cars will rocket down the back straightaway here from Dover, Delaware. Such a great racetrack. Excited to spend the week here. Of course, like I said, you got iCar tonight on Tuesday, Grand National tomorrow night on Wednesday, and then the Cup Series on Thursday from Dover Motor Speedway. It's all kicking into a big week next week, the Charlotte 600 week for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League, and of course, highlighted by the season number 5 Charlotte 600 in Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, one of our crown jewel events, probably the second biggest race of the season besides the Daytona 500, which is definitely the biggest race of the season easily. But that'll do it. Checkered flag in the air here in qualifying. Also on this Thursday is the 100th NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race of all time. It is a big day and a big week, big next 2 weeks here for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. But tonight is all about iCar as usual on these Tuesdays. Welcome live to the Season 3 iCar Pro Series race in Dover. Cameron Chandler going to be on pole here. So good at this racetrack. Who's outside will be winner last week at Pocono, Bryce Benton. Row number 2 will consist of Jamie McKinney. Also, you're going to have Knox Thompson. No, that's okay. That's a little bit of close up of the pace car. But you got CJ Ehrman running up in 5th. Brody Webster going to be 6th. Johnson 7th. Matthew White all down in 8th. Enters this race minus 13 to Cameron Chandler in the championship. Didn't get a qualifying lap in after he crashed in on his lap. This is going to be a good opportunity for Cameron to pull away here. Matthew can't get track position. Juan Cobb's going to be starting in 9th. Trent Wilkin will start 10th. Keaton Shelton will round out your field in 11th place. Only 11 cars tonight here in iCar. So we are still ready to go, though. The iCar Pro Series. Dover Motor Speedway. Cars will roll off the grid here at Dover. Alrighty. Big race tonight. This could be very important for the points. We'll just have to see how this all plays out from Dover. Cameron Chandler will start first. The race was supposed to be 100 laps. I don't know why it's 125, but okay. We're doing 25 extra laps tonight. It's longer than the Grand National race tomorrow for some reason. Grand National is only 115. We just got 200 for the Cup Series on Thursday. 3 races just remain this iCar Pro Series season. The championship battle is on, but Matthew White, starting 8th tonight, got some work to do to try to catch up to Cameron Chandler to close that battle for the championship. Who will take glory from the Monster Mile tonight? 3 races to go in this iCar Pro Series season, the final full-time season in iCar, and we're going to get it kicked off here in Dover. Green flag in the air from the Monster Mile. We are underway. Chandler on the inside of Benson trying to clear the 9 car. 9 car actually coming back to the outside. Benson, no. Chandler now clear heading down the back straightaway on the opening time. As they make their way to 3 and 4 single file besides Brody Webster up on the outside lane. Of course, only 11 cars tonight, so not going to be too of an issue getting single file. Here's Matthew White to the inside of Webster, and Cameron Chandler will lead lap 1. Now Wilkin a little bit of contact with Webster in the 22 down into 1 and 2. For the lead, we're starting to look at Cameron Chandler and Bryce Benson. They'll head down this backstretch yet again. They also got Matthew White. He is starting to close the gap, already up to 6, trying to get 5th place to the inside of CJ Ehrman. Of course, no stage points or halfway break in iCar, so he's just got to get to the end of the race here and get track position then. So he's got a long ways to go. Side by side with Ehrman, heading down into 1 and 2. For the lead, they're starting to get side by side as well. They're back single file though. Matthew White, though, to the door of that 94 of CJ Ehrman will clear that 94 car. iRacing's having a bit of a lag fest again. And there is Wilkin again to the inside of that 94 of Ehrman. Two-time winner in iCar this season in Daytona and then last season in Phoenix. 2 thrilling victories as well, and he's going to get passed here by now Brody Webster. Losing a lot of spots is CJ Ehrman. They go back to 8th here. Clear back in line. Up front, Cameron Chandler leads coming to lap 5 here in Dover, but Bryce Benton hot on his tail. Of course, a pretty long race, very long race. Think about iCar. I don't know why this race is so long. I mean, 100 laps at the most usually for this race. I don't know why it's 125, but okay. It is going to be a long, grueling one for these drivers tonight. Well, not for the Cup guys. They run a lot longer than this usually. But for a guy like Brody Webster in 8th, this is longer than the Grand National race at Dover. So, I mean, it's a good experience, even though these cars don't drive that similar to the Grand National cars or even the Cup cars. But definitely good experience to be back here in Dover. Top 3, nose to tail between Chandler, Benson, and McKinney. White, he is clear on Trent Wilkin up to 5th place. Wilkin now in 6th. Knox Thompson having a good run. He's kind of now in the middle here. There's Matthew White going to try to catch back up in the 18th. Oh, in the wall. Trenton Will got a car going around or spinning down the front straightaway is Brody Webster. We have a very nice voice crack. No caution. We can stay green. So no yellow here on lap 8. And we got a battle for the lead. Here comes the 9 of Benson. On the bumper of Chandler. We'll actually got McKinney go to the outside of the 9 car of Benson in that 84 Toyota. Oh, he gets a little bit loose there. Heading down the front straightaway yet again. But now Benson moves to the inside of Chandler in the 8. Door to door for the race lead. Heading back into 1 and 2. Side by side, even with each other. Down the backstretch again. Dorda on the little bit in the wall goes McKinney. They're still side by side. Benson trying to squeeze it down in there. Can McKinney take advantage of something like this going on? Ahead of him, they get each other tight again. Now here comes McKinney to the outside of Benson for second. Even door to door. Down the back end. Yeah, McKinney's got the spot. He's looking to the inside for the race lead almost. Actually, Chandler is going to be able to defend nicely through 3 and 4. And Brody Webster, I believe, is brought into the garage. Oh, Cameron Chandler. What a slide off corner exit. He's split 3 wide down the front straightaway. And Bryce Benson goes to the lead. How about that? Big loose moment for Cameron Chandler there off corner exit. Luckily saves it, but will fall back to second now. Door to door here. McKinney going to get second away. He falls back to third. And now McKinney maybe looking outside on the 9. And knocks Thompson to the battle. 4-way battle for the lead. Here comes Thompson to the inside of Chandler. And this is exactly what Chandler does not want to see early in this race. I mean, it's better happen early, but you don't want to see this at all. Of course, Matthew White now back in 5th, only 1 spot behind the iCar. Definitely starting to turn to the favor of Matthew White. Number 13 points in the battle for the championship. If Chandler is a wreck here today or something like that, doesn't finish well, he's starting to struggle. Maybe that's a good opportunity to get to Matthew White, just like last week in Pocono. Maybe this time Matthew can take advantage of it. Up front, though, James McKinney running in second. Bryce Benson looking for 2 iCar wins in a row here. After winning in Dover last week, here is Knox Thompson getting maybe passed by Cameron Chandler. Chandler trying to retake the position to try to regain what he lost. There he is to the inside of Thompson. Will clear him for 3rd place. A slow car. This is 65 at Johnson. Battle for the lead. Starting to heat up between McKinney and Benson. Trent Wilkin actually in the battle as well. Here we go to the inside. Knox Thompson is getting passed by Matthew White. Matthew from 8th now to 4th on lap 15 here at Dover. Good start for that 18 car so far. What you want to see if you're Matthew White? We got a car down pit road. That's Johnson. Any bit of a blinking issue there. He is. He's back. And now Bryce Benson leads at Dover Motor Speedway in the 9 car. Good start for him. Cameron Chandler, of course, back to 3rd. Heading down the back of a 3 and 4 here. Right along with somebody, real quick, if I can actually find the button. There we go. Riding with Cameron Chandler, now riding with the 18 of Matthew White. Matthew currently running in 4th. Chandler in 5th, or 3rd, I should say. Riding now with a helmet cam with Cameron Chandler. You can see trying to work the car. You don't want to burn up your stuff too early here in Dover. I don't think they can make it to the end on fuel this race. They should have to pit at least once. See, Chandler trying to catch up with McKinney in the 84 car. There you go. Okay, what was that? Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm not really sure what we're doing, iRacing, but there we go. Here we go, Cameron Chandler, the inside of McKinney now for second, trying to retake this spot. Door to door down the front straightaway. Oh, McKinney actually backed out of it, looked like, almost in the wall a little bit. Messing up the camera angles, apologies, it's iCar, so it's a bit of a test session tonight for the actual stuff that we really care about Wednesday and Thursday. So Chandler hit the apron a little bit. Now here comes 84 down the front straightaway, might have a run, but also Matthew White to the inside of McKinney. He will look to take 3rd away. He will. McKinney back to 4th. back at a 3 and 4 here in Dover. Lap 20 is on the way, coming up 20 laps complete this time by. It is going to be a pretty relatively long one, I would say. Again, not exactly sure why the race is so long. That's Cameron Chandler, that question. Now Chandler out to Benton out to about almost a 5-10 second lead over Cameron Chandler in second. Matthew White down in third. Kind of been the three best drivers all season, I feel like. Benton, Chandler, and White. I would say Chandler's been maybe the best, most consistent. White's been maybe second. Benton's been third, a little bit further back on this too. Lap traffic. That is Juan Cobb Jr., the all-famous driver with the Deligo sponsorship. So famous for that here in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. Battle for fourth. Here we go between Trent Wilkin and Jamie McKinney. Oh, McKinney is loose. What a big slide out of that 84 car. He's going to be loose. Here comes Wilkin trying to make a crossover down to the inside lane. Door to door, back into 3 and 4. Almost a little bit of contact as these two race side by side there. Oh my goodness. Wilkin trying to drive it deep into the corner, and they're going to be door to door here down the front straightaway Dover. Two very clean and respectful racers. Two former Grand National winners as well. They've never won though in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series either. McKinney had a thrilling victory, of course, last season in Chicagoland for his first ever Grand National win. What an amazing win that was. And Wilkin has multiple Grand National wins. He might have 3 or 4. He's got 2 weeks when he was full-time, had 1 in Las Vegas last season. But neither of them have ever won an iCar either. But Bryce Benton definitely has won here. The top 3 all have won an iCar this season already. The only other winner in iCar in the field right now is C.J. Urban in 7th. Outside of these top 3 heads. Wilkin a little bit sideways, was trying to pass McKinney now back to 5th. Tire tracks that 84 car. Just think about a guy like Trent Wilkin had outside of the chase right now for the Cup Series. Enters this race enters on Thursday in Dover. Will be 13th in the chase points, minus 27 to the cut line. So maybe trying to get some extra experience tonight. Maybe you're going to see him running the Grand National race tomorrow. As much experience as possible for the 200-lap Cup race on Thursday. Here's Benton, though, still leading this race to lap 28. We go from Dover to Delaware. I believe Erdman might have had a bit of an issue. I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he's blinked out or something, but his name, I don't know. Kind of look here. Oh, actually, Erdman actually disconnected. Not really sure what happened to him. Freddie Webster also out of the race. So yeah, this is still a long ways to go in this race. Just under 100 laps to go. Maybe just time to hunker down here and just run some laps for these guys. So some good racing early on. 3 wide actually lead it for a second. Benton now leads. Chandler second. White third. McKinney, Wilkin your top 5. Back here on Matthew White up from the 8th place starting spot now to 3rd. Would still need to beat Cameron Chandler today. Of course, Cameron is lucky after kind of a rough patch of races at Rockingham, Pocono, and others that allowed Matthew White to catch up for the championship battle. He is some really good racetracks, of course, these next 3 weeks. Today in Dover, already won the pole. Lost the lead, though, but he's back still running in 2nd ahead of Matthew White. Next week in Charlotte, he's a Cup Series winner at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That shows you how good he is there. He also won a Grand National race there. I believe he's won an iCar as well. And also the finale this season at Bristol. He's won back-to-back Cup Series races there and also won a Grand National race back in Season 3, so he is so good at Bristol as well. So we're looking for his 3rd straight Cup Bristol win there. I mean, he has never technically lost a race there at Bristol because he didn't race in Season 2. His first race there was season 3 at Bristol, which he actually won, and then won last season as well. Cameron actually still looking for his first ever Cup win here at Dover, though. So is that 7 car, or the 18 in iCar, but of course the 7 in the Cup Series, Matthew White. Of course, coming off last week, fortunately, after his little bit of a skiing accident that forced him to miss his first ever Cup race for actually on his own, not being suspended. This is season 1. He hasn't missed a race outside of suspension since season number 1. Matthew will return to the iCar. Obviously, he's in the seat right now, and will return for the rest of the week here in Dover. Not really too many lingering issues from that small injury that he had, which is not cleared the race on Thursday. Of course, the big story, what a huge story it was last week after Thursday. Richard Cherry finally filling in for Matthew White in the 7 car, gets in that Highline Motorsports machine that's always so fast with Matthew White, and absolutely proves that he should be maybe given a full-time Cup Series opportunity once. He runs down, passes Aiden Donahue, passes Bryce Benson late in the race, and wins his first ever Cup race in Dover after so long of trying, but finally gets the job done. There's never won with Team Chevy Motor Club, but now only one race in with Highline Motorsports gets the job done. Great day by Rich Terry last week. Richard, though, returns to his normal Team Chevy Motor Club part-time car, I believe, this week in Dover for the Cup Series. Of course, Grand National on Thursday, or Wednesday, I should say. Benson now pulling out the gap to about half a second over Cameron Chandler in second. Make their way down in the 3 and 4. He's actually side by side between some lap cars. I don't know what happened to Knox Thompson all of a sudden. He is off the pace. Lost a lot of time in the 48 car. I'm not really sure. It's definitely unfortunate for him. And he's going to be caught by this leader, Bryce Benson, who's coming quickly. Keaton Shelton as well. He's up the racetrack. Benson closing back to the bumper of Knox Thompson. Got 2 lap cars and work his way around. Shelton, I don't think will be an issue. And he will go to the inside of Knox Thompson. Should clear it pretty easily. So definitely nice to get through those lap traffic. Now, what can Cameron Chandler and Matthew White do? Ooh, Chandler's exit here off the corner might be compromised a little bit. Actually, oh, Cameron Chandler, actually that's Matthew White making a little bit of contact with Keaton Shelton. Matthew White now, his exit will be compromised by Knox Thompson, who would almost get in the wall. These two got together last week in Pocono. Had a bit of a wreck where Knox Thompson went in the wall. I don't think anything's going to happen tonight with these two. Pocono-wise, I think they're all over that. Clear of the lap traffic. That really didn't allow Benton to close, to pull away that much. Still the gap is about half a second. Ooh, a little bit of a moment there actually off corner exit for the 8 car of Cameron Chandler. He's been pretty loose on this race. This 8 car has been not settled in the ground too much. They may be looking for some adjustments. So I would assume they would have a bit. There's probably no way they can make it on field today. If they can, that would be wild. There's no way. 125 reps. Possible, I would say. And these two, I don't know what happened to Knox Thompson. Was just running here inside of the top 5, maybe not even 20 laps ago. Now he's back here at the lap down. Here's the 84 Jamie McKinney to the inside of the lap traffic. Knox doesn't have any damage, so I'm not really sure what happens. Of course, fans, campers, all here in the campground, all ready for 3 days of action. And these grandstands are packed for an iCar event. It is a great show here in Dover. And we always fill the grandstands no matter what. NASCAR can't even do that. But in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League, we've never had an empty grandstand. Oh, and now into the wall goes the 48 of Knox Thompson a little bit. The top 3 kind of pulled away from McKinney, who's back there in 4th by about 3.5 seconds. And now lap cars down the front straightaway, and there's Trent Wilkin in 60. The last car actually on the lead lap in 5th. Benton actually now pulling away from Cameron Chandler a little bit, 7/10 of the second the gap, and Matthew White Chandler closing the gap for second between him and Chandler. Matthew wants to keep his championship hopes alive, would probably need to beat Chandler today. At least not get beaten by too much by him. You cannot allow this iCar to gain. Cameron wins the iCar Pro Series Championship again this season. It would be, of course, his third straight, and that would officially mean you would never lose an iCar Pro Series Championship because it's the final season full-time of iCar, unfortunately. But we'll enjoy the last few races here full-time, and then whatever they run up until July 31st when they cease operations. And the caution's out here for the first time tonight. At lap 46, that's a shocking moment there, I believe. Juan Cobbs, not really sure who brought out the caution here. Knox Thompson, I believe, actually brought out the yellow. He just disconnected. What happened to Knox Thompson? So running here, not by himself, but on the outside of Keaton Shelton. Turn 4 he goes. Oh, in the wall. Oh, yeah, loses it in the wall again. And then he's going to, oh, man. Spins back up to the racetrack, and that's going to be day over for Knox Thompson, unfortunately. Wow. He's right along with his 48 car. Just lost it all on his own there. Yeah, just too much. In the wall he goes, and in the wall again. Just can't hang on to it. Just, it's a very, when you're spinning here at Dover, it's pretty much impossible not to hit anything unless you're Jimmy Johnson. So that's unfortunate for Knox Thompson. Probably, that'll, of course, take him out of the race. We got cars on pit road. Your leaders pitting for the first time today on lap 47. This is going to make it interesting. I think this may get them to the end of fuel. Not exactly 100% sure. I don't honestly check for iCar because we usually have an in-race reporter. I check for Grand National Cup because that's what I own. I don't actually own iCar, of course. That's owned by Cameron Chandler. But here we go. Cars coming down pit road. First time tonight, first yellow tonight in lap 48. Let's see if we have any positions changes on pit road here. Free pass will be given to Keaton Shelton. So I would expect 4 fresher general tires and full of Sunoco fuel. There goes Matthew White in the 18. Good stop by him. Benton going to be rolling off second. Chandler will, Benton on first, Chandler second. Third place for Matthew White. Actually, Wilkin gains a spot on McKinney. He'll be back to 5th, Wilkin up 4th. I believe Keaton Shelton should get the free pass here. Right, look from the blimp. Got a casino in the back straightaway here at Dover. Something you would usually see at Las Vegas, but for some reason they have that in Dover. Alrighty, so we're going to restart in lap 50, coming to the shoes this time by for the first caution of the day in Dover. So, I mean, I would assume Benton would choose the inside. And actually, we'll go outside. Okay. I don't actually know what the preferred lane on the restart was, so we now know it's the outside lane. So nobody gets the free pass for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but okay. I don't think, well, Keaton Shelton wasn't involved in the incident, so I'm not really sure why I didn't get the free pass here. He was close to it, but he wasn't involved, technically. But we're going to restart for the first time today. First yellow today on lap 50. So, you're not halfway yet, but I think you might be good on fuel. Fresh tires, full of Sunoco fuel here. Probably could be good at the end, I'm not 100% sure though. And it's Dover. The fuel one is not that small, so I think there's, what, 75 to go? Then you should be good, I think. Alright, well, we're going to restart here. First restart of the night with Benson on the outside, Chandler there on the inside. Here we go, side by side, the Echo Park restart zone. They go, good restart by that 9 car up on the outside lane, and we're back to green in Dover. Benson is clear on Chandler, who's going to have to try to cover off Matthew White as they head into 1 and 2. See, to the outside, the 84 of Jamie McKinney. Outside of Trenton Wilkin, door to door. That is for 4th place. Wilkin on the inside a little bit loose. Now McKinney fires back around the top to probably clear him. No, Wilkin back to the inside again. Door to door for P4. These two racing hard at it, side by side. Oh, wow, these top three just pull away because they are single file. Back to 3 and 4. 75 laps to go, coming to 74 to go, and man, loose moment again, and now Wilkin will drop in line. Up front, you see now Cameron Chandler still 2/10 back on the 9 car. Bryce Benson, Matthew White back there in third. Dirty air is still a pretty, I would say, relatively big thing at Dover. We got to be careful of that. It'll be a hot and sunny day on Thursday, and the race is starting earlier than usual, so these cars are probably going to be pretty slick and slidey. You're probably going to see a lot of passing on Thursday. Cup Series, not really sure what we're going to see in Grand National tomorrow. We've had other Grand National races. They're always pretty decent here in Dover. Now here's Chandler actually trying to challenge the 9 of Benton. Benton actually looking like a little bit unsettled, and he's got the 8 car of Cameron Chandler all over his back bumper. Heading back on 1 and 2. Where will Chandler make his move? Will he do it this early in the race? I mean, you can't just back off and not ever make your move in this race. You got to take it when you get it. Riding with Cameron Chandler. See, just sitting the tire track so far of that 8 car, or the 9 car, I should say, of Bryce Benson. McKinney actually catches the bumper of the 18 car, Matthew White, from third. Third and fourth. Back there in 5th place. Front, here we go. Cameron Chandler looking outside. Benson broke earlier. I think that made Chandler go take a evasive line to the outside lane. Almost got a little bit loose there. Has to run down the front straightaway though. Here we go. Cameron Chandler will run down the front straightaway. Where's he going to back straightaway? Where's he going to take it to the outside? He goes on the 9 car Benson. Here comes Cameron. Actually, he cannot make it up there. Had a big head of steam, just lost momentum. He's still on the bumper of that 9, heading back into 1 and 2, and he goes outside yet again. Dirty air, a big thing here at Dover. I don't think it's too easy to get around people here. Sorry, there we go. Sorry, just fix the camera angle. As they get down the front straightaway yet again, flying around Dover Motor Speedway. Chandler again will go to the outside. Will it work this time? No, I don't think it will. Benson trying to just put some dirty air on his nose. Cameron definitely looks faster on this run than the other run. Here he goes to the outside again. On the outside of Bryce Benson. But again, cannot find a way around him. Lap 60 in Dover. Nearly halfway. I always find it interesting that Bryce Benson runs a Ferrari beats King on a Chevy Arca car. So, but it's here we go. Cameron Chandler will run down the front straightaway again. We haven't seen him try the bottom lane, but I think just Benson is defending really nicely down there as he will go to the outside through 1 and 2. See if Chandler has a run down this back straightaway. Top 5 actually separated within a second with Wilkin back there to 5th and Benson your leader. Top 5 is all over each other as we go for the battle for the lead here in Dover. Chandler second, White, McKinney, Wilkin your top 5. The battle for the free pass is actually between Juan Cobbs. Now Keith Kelton, I believe, is retired. There's only 6 cars left running on the track. My God. These top 5 are definitely very competitive. And welcome to the inside of McKinney for 4th. Fall back in line. Here comes Chandler. We'll try the high. So no, he won't. He's actually too far back. Down the 3 and 4. Benson's done a good job defending here. I do think that iCar is a little bit quicker. If he can find a way around him, then he would probably drive off a little bit. Price has done a good job defending. Got some lap traffic now. Juan Cobbs Jr. again. Oh, he's actually, if he held up here, he's gonna not lose too much time, I don't think, from it. And Chandler and White will go to the inside of him. White's still back there in third. Maybe even saving his stuff a little bit. He's actually gonna try to catch Chandler down the back stretch here again. Ooh, lap car making almost a little bit of contact with Trent Wilkin, and they do make contact. Wilkin slides out of the inside of the apron. My goodness. Will maybe go around. Oh, he's on the wall again, and he comes back up to the racetrack. He has damage. Contact with the lap car. Juan Cobbs Jr. and Trenton Wilkin. I don't know what this is going to do to him, but it might put him out of the battle. That is unfortunate for the driver of the 60 car. Wow. Contact with a lap machine there, and Wilkin is off the pace now. He's probably going to be open for a caution here in the 60. There he is with damage. Bryce Benton, though, still leads second. Cameron Chandler third. Matthew White. And that's the most laps up until this point. Of course, bonus points also a thing you got to think about for iCar. And they do have different bonus points than oh my God, I can't get the words out of my mouth. Than the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. So let me actually look at it real quick. I just want to double check what kind of bonus points they actually have here. I know they have pole position, I believe. They also have led one more laps. They have led most laps. The race winner gets 5 extra bonus points for whatever reason. Best lap gets also a bonus point. I believe that's it. So there are more bonus points available if you think about it. That's important for the championship between Cameron Chandler and Matthew White. Maybe get a fastest lap bonus point. That could be the difference. Maybe winning the race also. That would be a huge difference. Those two would love to win. We would give them a good buffer over the next. I don't know if I heard that right, but I feel like I heard coasting from someone. Yep, coasting. I believe that might be the iCar of Chandler. We're going to ride along with some of these guys. We're going the wrong way. We're going the wrong way. There we go. All right, let's listen to Cameron Chandler. No, he's not shutting it off. Matthew White isn't shutting it off. I'm not really sure who's coasting. White's full song, so is Chandler. Not exactly sure. Benson as well. No, Benson is coasting. Okay. So that could be big. Not really. I guess he feels like he maybe can't make it right now. Dover's a place you don't save a ton of fuel at. That's not. I mean, Dover isn't really a place you think about saving fuel. Pocono last week is. This would be expected. We did see this last week in Pocono, but Dover? Yeah, I don't know. Surprised this actually hasn't allowed Chandler to close back up more. He's still coasting back to 3 and 4. Doing a nice job holding on to the lead and a good gap as well. That just shows that we're pretty close on fuel here to the end. It is not safe at all. Here goes Chandler on the outside. Will he try to take an opportunity to pounce on the 9? Coasting and saving for the 9 car of Bryce Benson. Cameron Chandler going to pounce behind him. Matthew White still back there in third. They are nose to tail between these top 3. Chandler outside, and now Matthew White almost looking to the inside of him. Here goes White in the 18, door to door with Cameron Chandler. This is important. The 2 battling for the championship. White to the inside of Chandler through 3 and 4. He'll get a little bit tight, might have to back out of the gas, and yeah, he will. Back to third. so interesting that the 9 car is coasting here. And not Benton, or I should say Chandler and White aren't. I mean, Benton White still could be fuel saving, but there is different ways to be actually able to do that. Wilkin, by the way, came down pit ready. I think he's going to be out. That's unfortunate for the driver of the 60. Battle for third, trying to heat up between Cameron Chandler and Matthew White. He's actually got to run down this back straightaway 3 and 4. Oh, White's got, yeah, Chandler got a little bit loose here. We got White all over his back number through 1 and 2. Battling for second place. White's going to have a big row. He gets to lose in the bottom. Had momentum coming big time. I don't think the car can hold it, but here we go. He's still to the inside of the 8 car of Chandler. Side by side for second. Almost a disaster there with those two. My goodness. How hard will they race each other for the championship? These last 3 races, looking at it right now, he actually falls back in line, Matthew does. Chandler clear into second again. This is just allowing Bryce Benton to pull away, even though he's the one being actually saving fuel and coasting. So just racing is allowing that 9 car to pull away. Now Matthew White again, he's looking to the inside once more on Cameron Chandler for P2, trying to get to his quarter panel. He is there to the inside for second. All this racing again allowing the 9 to pull away Bryce Benson. And they're nearly making contact back into 1 and 2 here. Side by side for second place. And again, Matthew falls back in line. Just feels like they can get to the inside. They just can't complete the passes. Chandler actually at the apron a little bit. Washes up the racetrack ever so slightly. And Chandler now nearly a second back on Bryce Benton. Here comes Matthew White again to his inside. Almost a little bit of contact once more. This time I think he might get him. Moves Chandler up the racetrack. Will drive it deep into the corner, but Chandler fighting back on the outside lane. Side by side. And again, Chandler clears him. And they're now 1.1 seconds back on Benton. The largest gap for the lead on the day. I think that 18 is faster here. Just for some reason cannot complete the pass. He's all over his back bumper, back on 3 and 4 here. Oh, Chandler looks like he's going to wash up the racetrack. He's going to get a little bit tight, but almost allows the 18. There he is to the inside again. Matthew White on the left side of Chandler. Again, I don't think he's going to be able to complete the pass. We'll see back in the 3 and 4. He's still on the bottom of that 8 machine. But Chandler might be able to roll the outside here off corner exit, and he will choose just that and will re-clear. Get Matthew White again. It's allowing McKinnon to actually close up the battle for second, and Bryce Benton, 1.6 seconds the gap now for the lead. He has just driven over 1.7, even saving. This is great news for Benton. He can save as much as he needs with these two, continuing the race side by side. Once again, Matthew White to the inside on Cameron Chandler. Oh, Chandler gets loose off corner exit. White can still not complete the pass. Now he goes outside, and here comes McKinney. These two racing side by side so hard. That 82-4 car is there. Oh, he's going to almost arrow block him back into 3 and 4. Top, second, third, and fourth, nose to tail, and now here's McKinney all the way down low, and Matthew White tries to make the battle happen. They're losing a lot of time to Bryce Benton. And, who's still saving fuel, by the way. Chandler this time, he's loose, and here comes Matthew White once again to his inside. Can he do anything this time? Door to door with each other, back at a 1 and 2. White on the inside, Chandler on the outside. Again, he's almost makes a little bit of contact. He's getting desperate here. Knows he needs to go. On the bottom of the racetrack, Chandler going to squeeze him down there. He's going to get loose. Chandler doesn't clear him, though, off corner exit this time. Here comes McKinney all the way down low. Tries to make it 3 wide. White gets loose on the bottom. And again, Chandler off corner exit clears him. And now McKinney here to the battle. To the inside of Matthew White for third. This is not at all what Matthew wants to see. Especially for the championship. Oh, McKinney roughs him up. He is loose. And around goes Jamie McKinney into the wall. And the caution is out. For the second time today on lap 91, Jamie McKinney spins, battling for third with Matthew White. Single car incident for at least the cars that spun. We're under yellow for the second time today on lap number 91. Take a look at a different angle of what happens here. So there, just on the bottom of the 18 car of Matthew White. Yeah, just loses it all on his own there. Not anything Matthew did. I mean, I don't think he pinched him down there either. We'll ride along here with the 84. McKinney. Just contact. Up into the door of the 18 car, Matthew White. He goes and spins down the front straightaway. And now breaking out the caution. This is an interesting time of the yellow. This is exactly what Bryce Benson did not want to see. But exactly great news for both Cameron Chandler, Matthew White, and even Jamie McKinney. Didn't get too much damage from that, and now he's back in the battle, if you think about it. And didn't lose any of his spots. It was only 4 cars in the lead lap, somehow. But, who's going to pit? Here we go. Here we go, everyone pitting. We've seen any 2 tires to try to jump anyone. I mean, this could be important for track position. It's been hard to pass today. Here come your leaders rolling down pit road. So, I don't know what we're doing, but okay. Trying to get tires here. Probably going to be 4-fish Goodyears, it looks like, for everyone. 4-fish General Tires, I should say. Here's Matthew White off pit road, and he's going to be off pit road. Maybe, no, it's going to be second. He actually beat Chandler, I believe, though. That's important. Oh, and Chandler, this is not that big, but we'll lose a spot here and going to the rear. Pit road speeding penalty. All right, well, we're going to have a restart in lap 95. Coming to the shoes at the time. Been a while. I'm sorry. Been a while since Benton last gave up the lead. We'll see what happens on this restart. He will go outside. Matthew White going to choose the low side, the front row. McKinney bottom now outside. Chandler actually on the low side. If Chandler falls back to 4th here and Matthew White is able to get the lead, that's a big point swing, a very big one indeed. We're going to restart. Like I said, in lap 95 will be 31 to go in Dover. Starting to get to the end of this thing from Dover Motor Speedway in iCar. And I don't know what we're doing. Come on. Oh my god, what the hell? I don't know. Seriously? iRacing is now broken. Great. There we go, we're back. Now we're not. What are we doing? I don't know if I'm the only one or what iRacing's doing right now. Come on. This is ridiculous. Second week in a row this crap happens. And this is absolutely ridiculous. Now we can't see the restart again. Now we gotta... unbelievable. So we gotta restart the session again. Completely ridiculous. iRacing is... It is pathetic. They're still having these issues. This isn't me. It's iRacing. Like, it's actually pathetic. So now we're going to completely miss the restart. Apologize for that. Nothing I can really do right now. So we'll see here. I don't know if I'm the only one. I can actually watch from Bryce Benson's stream. Of course, I actually accidentally clicked Max Diffie's. So Benson is clear for the lead on Matthew White. He's back in second. White on his bumper through 1 and 2 here. We're on lap 96, I believe. Benson, though, still continues to lead here in Dover. Second place Matthew White. I think third, actually, Cameron Chandler got third from Jamie McKinney. Chandler back in P3. We're back here. Sorry about that. Ridiculous. Racing there, but we're back. Here we go. Battle for second. Chandler in the bumper of Matthew White again. To the outside he goes through 3 and 4. Oh, in the wall, and now, oh my goodness, Cameron Chandler just lost his front end. No, he didn't. What was that, iRacing? Okay. Just reappeared. Okay. That was completely stupid. I guess he didn't lose his front end. He's okay. And here comes the 84 of McKinney to the inside of the 8. Now he's there for third. Side by side. iRacing is pulling a bunch of BS lately here. Last few laps. My God. I don't understand how that happens. I don't know why that happens, where the bumper just, it falls off. You have a big moment all of a sudden, then it just reappears like magic on the race car. Coming up 25 to go this time by. In Dover, Matthew White. Oh, in the wall a little bit goes McKinney back there in fourth. White now going to try to be pushing on that iCar Benson. How much can he push, though? McKinney getting out of the outside of Cameron Chandler. I don't think he sustained any damage from that. It was just iRacing for some reason taking off his nose. He's going to move McKinney, give him way up the racetrack through 1 and 2. 84 going to be back on the bottom. No, he's not. Stay in line. We'll go to the outside here, 3 and 4, though. He's there to the outside of the 8-car of Cameron Chandler, and he's going to have the spot here. Chandler back to fourth. This is not good at all for him on the points. Matthew White still now in second, and Cameron Chandler back there, P4. So good at Dover, but started on pole. We thought he might dominate this race, but really hasn't led since over the last about 80 or so laps. Here we go, and Matthew White close that gap up to Bryce Benson. Here and now Chandler back side by side with McKinney through 3 and 4. McKinney, though, going to gain momentum again on the outside lane and will re-clear Cameron Chandler. The gap up front, about 0.4 of a second between Matthew White and Bryce Benson. Now it's half a second. Benson beginning to ever so slightly edge away from the 18-car Matthew White. And Benson wasn't too confident coming into this race, by the way. But he has absolutely dominated this one so far. About 20 to go this time by. For back-to-back iCar wins, Bryce Benson is after winning last week in Pocono. Chandler back and forth. All of a sudden, the handling on his race car kind of gone away. I'm not sure if he sustained any damage from that contact with Matthew White. He lost his front end and magically got it back. Not exactly 100% sure on that. It's now actually the gap for Lino a little bit up here with Matthew White and Bryce Benson. And they're all good at the end on fuel. They all just better they can run hard to the end on fuel and tires. Still collecting down these laps here in Dover. I don't know why, but is the 9 car coasting? I'm not really sure why he would be coasting. And I'll ride along with him real quick. God, I can find the angle. Why is he coasting? Why? I'm not really sure, to be honest here. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, that doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to coast here. They just pitted. Unless he's just didn't fuel the car up? I don't know. That would be pretty stupid, but... I mean, maybe he didn't hit the fuel button? I'm not really sure. It's always a possibility. It'd be kind of funny, but... No offense, Bryce Benson. To go in Dover. Matthew White needs to get around this 9 car if he wants to make any big gains on Cameron Chandler. I mean, right now is good, but still not good enough. I don't know what the coasting is for the 9. I'm not really sure. White got tied there, lost a little bit of time. I mean, Benson really isn't losing too much time from it, I don't think. I mean, even if White gets to his bumper, it's been so hard to pass tonight. Nearly impossible, I feel like. Seen a couple moves here and there, but nothing really for the lead. Besides early in the race. Benson has held the lead for nearly 100 laps now. Just 12 laps to go here in Dover for iCar. Can Matthew White pass the 9? Is it possible? Does he have enough pace in that machine? Does he have enough clean air? That's most important. And Benson, does he have enough fuel? I'm not sure why he's coasting. Should be good, but you never know. Something crazy could have happened. I'm not really sure. I don't really think so. I just looked on his stream coming to 10 to go. Now, he didn't have his fuel number thing up, so I have no clue why he's coasting at all. He doesn't coast back at a 1 and 2 here. Maybe he's stuck. I'm not really sure. Sounds pretty loose up there. Got a car on the wall. That's Juan Cobbs Jr. in the 13. He's 9 laps down, so I would hope he doesn't cause a caution here. I'm not really sure what he's doing. Eight laps to go this time by from the Monster Mile. Just a little bit over that 18 car of Matthew White. Looking for, of course, 2 straight wins. His 3rd of the year. Also won in Sonoma earlier this season. Juan Cobbs up high, way out of the way. Will go. Bryce Benton just got to hold on for 6 more laps. Oh, Juan Cobbs just slammed the wall. Not exactly sure what this 13 car is doing here. Oh, he's going to get in the way a little bit. Jamie McKinney down the inside. I think he's hopefully coming to pit road this time. No, he's not. I'm not really sure what Juan Cobbs Jr. is doing right now. That's pretty weird. Of course, Les Chandler go. Oh, he's going to go down to the inside and nearly hit the wall. I hope he doesn't lose the race car. I don't know what. Oh. What is Juan Cobbs doing right now? He just spun down to the inside, and he might go up he's up the racetrack. I don't think the caution's out. I don't know what Juan Cobbs is doing right now at all. There he is. Hopefully he gets it going here. Because the caution right now, 4 to go. That'll be interesting. And Bryce Benton actually pulled the gap away again. 4/10, nearly 5/10 of a second between him and Matthew White. 3 to go this time by. White is just struggling now all of a sudden. This isn't his favorite racetrack, Dover. Jamie McKinney just had an issue, by the way. He's pitting. What on earth? Why is he pitting with 3 to go? I have no idea. Okay. Well, this is great news for Cameron Chandler. He's going to get an extra spot out of this, and not what Matthew White wanted to see at all. Benton still goes. I'm so confused. I'm honestly so confused. I wish we could dial up these drivers right now. There's a way to do that in night racing. None of them are in Discord right now, so it's not really possible. We're coming to the white flag this time by. 1 lap to go over in Dover. And Benton now pulled out almost a second over Matthew White. Pretty odd race to finish it off here, but Bryce Benton has been pretty dominant in this one tonight. Making his way down into 1 and 2. A little bit of the game now, and Matthew White to Cameron Chandler in the championship. Coming to 2 races to go, Charlotte and Bristol in the next 2 weeks. Through 3 and 4 for the 9 car. He won last week in Pocono. He's going to go back-to-back. Bryce Benton going to win in Dover in iCar. Matthew White will finish in 2nd, and Cameron Chandler ways back. Started on the pole, but he'll finish ultimately 3rd. Last car in the lead lap. Not really sure what happened to Jamie McKinney at all. Bryce Benton, checkered flag. He wins Dover. Pretty dominant effort, led the most laps. Nearly a max points day. No, he's in the battle for the championship, though. That's pretty much over. But Bryce Benton, your race winner in Dover. And he will get to burn it down here on the front stretch. Hopes he can burn it down another time on Thursday here in the Cup Series. And here he goes, doing a burnout. Down the front straightaway here at the Monster Mile. Your winner in Dover, dominant effort out of the 9 car. Took the lead, didn't look back at all early in the race. Led the most laps. Very impressive. This has got to be great momentum. I know that Bryce isn't his favorite racetrack, so good momentum heading to the Cup Series race on Thursday. Of course, the other 2 times he's won iCar this season, his Cup results have gone pretty well as well. Of course, he won iCar in Sonoma, also then, of course, won the Cup race at Sonoma. And then, of course, last week in Pocono, also won iCar, as now he goes back-to-back wins and finished 3rd. It was leading late in the race there. Nearly had the win, just didn't have a good car there at the end. Not as good as Aiden Donahue and Rich Cherry, ultimately your race winner. But he'll actually be able to bring into victory lane here, I think. I don't know why this thing... Is he out of fuel? Is he actually out of fuel? I don't know how on earth he's out of fuel right now, to be honest. I don't know. He pitted. I'm so confused. Same thing with McKinney. He pitted also. I'm really confused. I mean, there's no way the fuel window was that small. It's not really possible. He's out, that's for sure. I don't think he's not going to be able to get a pit road. There's nobody else here to be able to push him. He will have to. Oh, that's unfortunate for Bryce. Can't make the victory lane. Wow. Well, that will do it in iCar at Dover. I mean, I'll ask some of the drivers what was going on with the fuel situation because I'm honestly curious what was happening there. I'm pretty confused. That'll do it from Dover Motor Speedway. Pretty long race. Thank you, Cameron Chandler, for that. And only 2 cautions today, but that will do it. He said he ran out of gas. I'm not really sure how, but we'll have to see what ultimately happens when we ask him in our post-race interview coming up. Bryce Benson, his third win of the season here in iCar. I mean, it would have been. I would say Matthew White definitely hoped Jamie McKinney wouldn't pit there. Unfortunately, he does for him. So it's going to be still a points game and very small. Only like one. It's literally one position. The smallest points gain you could possibly have. So coming up is Bryce Benson, whatever he gets himself into here. Alrighty. Bryce Benson taking a million years right now, so we'll give him another second. There he is. Okay, so post-race interviews. First, I think we're the only one who might be Benton. Bryce Benson, absolutely dominant at Dover. You get your second straight iCar win, leading 114 out of the 125 laps. Completely incredible race for you guys. You passed the Dover King, Cameron Chandler, early in the race for the lead, and you never looked back. But also the fuel situation. I don't know why it was like that. Was the fuel window just that small, first of all?
You kind of cut out. Wait, could you repeat it? You kind of cut out.
Well, did I cut it the whole time?
uh, yeah, a little bit, but
What did you actually
I
hear?
was able to hear majority. But the actual question I didn't hear.
Oh, yeah. What was going on with the fuel situation?
Um, yeah, it was interesting. After the first caution, it came out a really weird time. So we were about 5 laps short on fuel. So it was it was honestly not that hard to save 5 laps, but the thing that was hard is that you had to save more than iRacing basically tells you, because you can save like 5 laps and then you can get pushing and then it'll just burn right through it. So I was good. Like I was like 4 laps to the good when that last caution came out, and but I burned right through it on the on the restart. On like the first like 10 laps or so, I just burned right through it, so I had to get saving. I probably could have started pushing a lot earlier, but I kind of wanted to just save more just to be safe and also to have enough fuel to do a burnout in case I won, which obviously I did. I was hoping to go to victory lane at the end, to go to the victory lane that they have here, but ran out of fuel, so I wasn't able to do that. But at least I was able to do the burnout. So yeah, definitely really interesting fuel situation, but yeah, it was definitely really interesting.
Yeah, but absolutely dominant for you guys. Are you surprised that you're able to just come out and just dominate the field here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I said it multiple times. I had no confidence for this track, and this is a huge win because I had no clue I was even capable of even running really good here. I mean, I obviously I sometimes run pretty good, but I'm never really that quick. Especially this combo. This I would consider this combo probably one of my worst on iRacing, but I think it was probably the set that we had. I think it made it a lot better for me because it was a lot looser. I think I'm still really bad on the whatever the iRacing setup is, but on the setup we had tonight, I think it definitely helped, and yeah, made the car a lot looser, and it really just fit my driving style a lot more, and I think that's how I was able to come out on top. But yeah, definitely still surprised me because this track is usually not a track that I really see as a track that I could win at, but I didn't really see Poconos that either, and I was able to win. So just a bunch of surprises, I guess.
Well, of course, the Cup race coming up here on Thursday. Great way to start off the week for the second week in a row. 2 iCar wins here on Tuesday. Now in Dover. Does this give you any extra confidence, any extra laps here you can bring into the Cup race here on Thursday?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll be doing the Grand National race. Yeah, that should give me some good experience for the Cup race. I don't know if I'll win. I don't know if I'll win like I did tonight. I think tonight was also obviously usually I guess with iCar it's a lot less competitive fields than it is with the actual FedEx races. So I don't really know if I'll have that same pace that I showed tonight. But I mean, we'll see. I'm just glad we're not using the next gens in Cup anymore at this track, cause yeah, that I'm really not good at that combo, and plus that combo also is not very enjoyable last season. So, yeah, I think I haven't really done the combo in the Gen 4 or this track in the Gen 4. So I really don't know actually really where my pace is. I just kind of assumed that wasn't gonna be great, but tonight might have just proved me wrong. And yeah, and then we'll just see how the rest of the week goes.
All right, Bryce. Well, congratulations here on the iCar win. Your third of the season. Looking to finish out the final season of iCar strong here. And we'll see, of course, tomorrow in the stacked Grand National Series race here in Dover.
Yep.
And that'll do it for the iCar Pro Series. Like I said, tomorrow in Grand National, there is a lot of Cup drivers running that. You got Matthew White, Bryce Benton, Cameron Chandler, Aiden Donahue, and some others as well. So it is going to be a very stacked grid. Dover's also a track, obviously a track where the Cup drivers usually show out for some reason. A lot of them just really like this racetrack in the Grand National car. So you're going to see a lot of Cup drivers tomorrow night in the Grand National Series race. And then, of course, the actual Cup Series race on Thursday. So that'll do it for iCar tonight. Bryce Benton gets the win. Matthew White going to extend barely over Cameron Chandler. Should have maybe 10 points now. The gap heading to Charlotte with 2 races to go next week for the iCar Pro Series this season. So that'll do it. We will see you tomorrow night for the Grand National Series race. And, of course, that's in Dover. So we'll see you tomorrow for Grand National. Good night from Dover Motorsports.